Hello and welcome to SMARTChess Channel Immortal Game Series. Today we shall analyze the immortal game of the second world chess champion, Immanuel Lasker. In this game, Lasker with black pieces played against Harry Nelson Pillsbury. The game was played in St. Petersburg in 1896. Now let us know the players. The player with the white pieces is Harry Nelson Pillsbury. Harry Nelson Pillsbury, born 5th December 1872 and died 17th June 1906, was an American chess master. He started playing chess only at the age of 16, and in 9 years' time he became the US chess champion. He was an exceptionally gifted man, and he could play chess and checkers simultaneously while also playing a card game and reciting a list of long words. He had good blindfold chess skills also, but he had only a very short chess career, and he succumbed to illness at the very early age of 33. Now the player with black pieces is Immanuel Lasker. Immanuel Lasker, born 24th December 1868 and died 11th January 1941, was a German chess master, mathematician, and philosopher who held the World Chess Championship title for a record time of 27 years. Lasker learned chess from his elder brother at the age of 11. He had a combinative approach to the game and has developed exceptional defensive technique, especially the active defense. It was Lasker who introduced a psychological approach to the game. He authored several chess books and founded chess magazines. He also invented a game called Lasker and contributed to mathematics and philosophy as well. He also contributed to chess opening theory by inventing several Lasker variations in different chess openings. Now let's go into the game. Pillsbury opens with d4. Lasker replaces d5. Now c4. Now we have Queen's Gambit on the board. e6. mc3, knight f6, knight to f3, c5, and bishop to g5. Now we have Queen's Gambit declined orthodox variation. c into d4, q into d4, knight to c6, attacking the queen. So queen moves to h4, strengthening the pin of the knight against the queen. We have bishop e7, unpinning, castles long, queen to a5, attacking the a2 pawn. Now we have e3, opening the bishop's diagonal. Bishop to d7, a developing move. King to b1, defending the a2 pawn. Now h6, attacking the bishop. C takes d5, e takes d5, knight to d4. Suppose instead of knight d4 white captures knight, pawn at d5, then we have knight at d5, knight takes d5, then bishop takes d5, and knight d takes e7. Okay, going back, knight black castles, bishop into f6, bishop into f6, q into h5, attacking the pawn on d5 and entering into a self pin. Knight into d4, e into d4, bishop to e6, protecting the pawn on d5, f4, threatening f5, attacking the bishop, rook a to c8, f5, rook into c3, and an exchange sacrifice, f into a6. Suppose instead of taking the bishop, white takes the rook, then we have bishop to d7, bishop to e7, e2, rook to c8, attacking the c3 pawn twice, rook to c1, defending the c3 pawn, rook into c3, rook into c3, and q into c3, then q into g4, and bishop into d4, threatening checkmate on square b2. So in this case, q into d2 is forced, q into d4 is forced, and q into d4 is winning for black. Going back, rook to a3, threatening rook takes a2, and then rook to a1 check. E into f7 check, rook into f7, and b into a3, q in b6 check, bishop to b5. Suppose instead of this, king moves to a1, then bishop into d4 check, rook into d4, the only move, then queen into d4 check, king b1, and rook f2. Which threatens mate on b2. Going back, we have actually bishop to b5, queen into b5, check, king a1, rook to c7, actually threatening rook to c2 followed by q into b2 check. So that's why rook d2 protecting the c2 square. Going back, you cannot attack the queen by rook to b1 because bishop into d4 check, and after rook to b2, queen into b2 is checkmate. Going back, rook c4 attacking the d4 pawn, rook h d1 for protecting the d4 pawn, rook to c3, attacking this pawn on a3, q into f5, and we have q into c4 threatening rook to c1 check, king to b2. Suppose instead a trivial move is played, for example h3 is played, then we have rook to c1 check, rook takes rook, queen takes rook check, q into b1, and then queen takes d2, then q into g1, bishop into d4 check, q into d4, and q into d4 check is winning for black. And now going back in our game, king move to b2, rook into a3, another good move, drawing the king away from its army, queen to e6 check, king to h7. Now king takes a3, q into c3 check, king a4, and now bishop to b5 check, and in this position Pillsbury resigned. Suppose he played further, then the moves would have been king into b5, then q into c4 check, king to a5, the only move, then bishop to d8 check, q into b6, the only move, and bishop into h6 mate. And that's all. Hope you enjoyed the game, and feel free to give your comments and feedback at the comments. Thank you for watching, and remember, chess makes you smarter. See you soon.